Everybody kicks in a bun, we in Trinidad. Always reshuffling cabinet, and up to now they can't do nothing yet, and we laughing. They buy a boat and it never floats. Instead we know it used to carry boat, and we laughing. Raise the salary with a big back pay, and retrenching for workers every day, and we laughing. When election come and you wouldn't vote, all you saying is we go cut it throat, and we laughing. Everybody laughing, everybody glad, everybody kicks in our fun, we in Trinidad. All our justice jail bill in record time. People asking if we promoting crime, and we laughing. Can't finish the hospital or priority, but they finish the money in the treasury, and we laughing. It's got losing $500,000 a day. It's jam on the main road and the highway, and we laughing. They went for Malik and the Guyanese, let O'Hala run up the hook with these, and we laughing. Everybody laughing, everybody glad, everybody kicks in a fun, we in Trinidad. Some Barbadians say Adam shouldn't dead, a certain PM should have dead instead, and we laughing. He see Tobago and say tobacco, where he get his fooling from them don't know, and we laughing. Sideline the commissioner police, since that happened look crime on the increase, and we laughing. The minister say crime on the decline, and in 3 months they more than 29, and we laughing. Everybody laughing, everybody glad, everybody kicks in a fun, we in Trinidad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Joseph Bridge take 9 years to build. If you pass, you could see it building still, and we laughing. While the boys industrial burning down, 2 little boys in a back room having fun, and we laughing. No commissioner, 2 chief justice, I hope and tell the Pope about this, and we laughing. The CJ wouldn't play my calypso like this, I use any girl Toronto, and we laughing. Everybody laughing, everybody glad, everybody kicks in a fun, we in Trinidad. And the first child a vagrant killed, but they had them roaming the country still, and we laughing. We laughing. They say 2 ministers involved in coke, and we hope it's short that they making short, and we laughing. We laughing. Containers disappearing every day, how they disappearing, customs can't say, and we laughing. We laughing.
Yesterday, of course, the president all on Saturday, and as usual, just to see whether or not, of course, all is well. I don't want, of course, a song like. That's what we don't want the song like. So let me make sure and get the internal monitoring system in place so that I can rest assured. Yes, well, of course, that has been accomplished. So let me get straight into, of course, the topic of the day. Pleasant night to all the first thoughts and all. Big one, wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. Pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed, this is the Saturday night edition of the Corridor Transformation. And of course, lies. And I think, of course, the most appropriate public exponent to express that situation in song would be none other than Lord Nelson. I understand that he is a Tobagonian as well, so you would appreciate the fact that he's a Tobagonian of a very, what I consider to be ill repute. And ill repute here is across the board because, of course, ill repute usually refers to women who have a sexual orientation that is, for want of a better term, promiscuous, but more significantly, I think it is about, of course, having sexual, should I say, encounters for money. So, in that context, we can say safely that Rowley can be, of course, placed in that category since, of course, he has been not just sexually promiscuous, but clearly classified and must be classified as a pedophile and a rapist, having been, of course, been engaged in such heinous, deplorable, wicked, diabolical, advantageous, exploitative behavior, whilst in the profession, such a disgrace as is the case as Prime Minister, as a teacher, back in 1969. So, but of course, tonight we look at the multiple lies told by this administration, but the most recent edition, that of Imp's birth, and his clear and categorical, of course,
in 2 days,
sing that little
boiled
thing.
down and leave just 3. I had me iron lion the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide 80 feet in span. He had to tight on the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. When you're talking about fish, you just hit the spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great. But it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show. Completely eliminated Mr. Debo. The next man to beat was Will the Outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The Lion agreed. Say any topic Will pick is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong. Let we meet head on. And when we done, see who head fit to wear the crown. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
Teacher Percy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die.
Let it go. Let it go. Shook it up. Yep.
By the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. I just want to make sure that I got the first point clear, that I'm saying that any allegation is crystal, right? Yeah. That we are saying it's patently false. Okay, that any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. That those were backdated is patently false.
The constitutional impasse with respect to the Auditor General's report for the financial year of 2023. And all of this stemmed because there is a missing $3 billion worth of revenue in Trinidad and Tobago. The Auditor General, through her report that we have seen on various networks and news agencies, is that there is a missing $3 billion in revenue. So on the 31st of January, accounts were submitted to the Office of the Auditor General indicating that Trinidad and Tobago revenue for 2023 was about $61 billion. Subsequently, the Auditor General was informed that there were issues with respect to the accounts and that the actual revenue for Trinidad and Tobago would have been $64 billion, which means that there's a $3 billion gap. When the Auditor General...
Any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. I just want to make sure that I got the first point clear, that I'm saying that any allegation is crystal, right? Yeah. That we are saying it's patently false. Okay, that any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. That those were backdated is patently false.
The constitutional impasse with respect to the Auditor General's report for the financial year of 2023. And all of this stemmed because there is a missing $3 billion worth of revenue in Trinidad and Tobago. The Auditor General, through her report that we have seen on various networks and news agencies, is that there is a missing $3 billion in revenue. So on the 31st of January, accounts were submitted to the Office of the Auditor General indicating that Trinidad and Tobago revenue for 2023 was about $61 billion. Subsequently, the Auditor General was informed that there were issues with respect to the accounts and that the actual revenue for Trinidad and Tobago would have been $64 billion, which means that there's a $3 billion gap. When the Auditor General audited the accounts after the amended accounts were issued, she still could not find the $3 billion, and therefore that was in fact reported, and that is now a matter of public record. But what is interesting is this, is that the Auditor General has raised a very serious matter with respect to the backdating of the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago, because she had in her possession 2 accounts for Trinidad and Tobago as at the 15th of April 2023. And the both accounts were dated the 31st of January 2024, and I have copies of the both accounts. And these 2 accounts would have reflected various figures, but have the same date. One account was actually delivered to her on the 31st of January 2024 with the revenue figure of $61.8 billion. The other account would have reflected a figure of $64 billion submitted to her after the 31st of January 2024, but was backdated to the 31st of January 2024. Submitted to her after the 31st of January 2024, but was backdated to the 31st of January 2024. Submitted to her after the 31st of January 2024, but was backdated to the 31st of January 2024.
Any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. That those were backdated is patently false.
Acting Prime Minister Colm Imbert has been given until 4 p.m. on Wednesday to respond to a pre-action protocol letter sent by the Auditor General's legal team. If Minister Imbert fails to respond, Freedom Chambers will file a claim for judicial review challenging the legality of the investigation announced on May 7th. The investigation, headed by retired Justice David Harris, was set up to investigate the circumstances surrounding the dispute which followed the Auditor General's Public Accounts 2023 report. The letter calls on the minister to cancel or recall the investigation. Ramdas's attorneys say neither the minister nor the cabinet has the constitutional jurisdiction and lawful authority to investigate the action and conduct of the Auditor General. They say it is only the Public Service Commission under Section 121 of the Constitution that has jurisdiction. The letter also states that the risk of bias in the finance minister appointing an investigative team is clear and self-evident. Opposition leader Kama Prasad Besessa previously argued that only the Public Service Commission has the authority to investigate the Auditor General. In last week's post-cabinet media briefing, Minister Imbert called her argument nonsense.
It was only on the 16th of April that the amended public accounts were accepted. I had said in the Parliament, look, I don't want to dive too deep into this because, you have one group of public servants saying X, another group saying Y. So the whole purpose of this team that has been appointed and is headed by retired Justice David Harris is to talk to all the public servants involved and see if we could get some clarity on what really happened, basically. Well, nonsense uttered by the leader of the opposition. It's nonsense because in the Senate, I said that I am going to conduct an internal investigation to investigate the facts within the Ministry of Finance. So who is supposed to pick the team? I ask the leader of the opposition to pick the team? It's nonsense. Any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. I just want to make sure that I got the first point clear, that I'm saying that any allegation is crystal, right? That we are saying it's patently false. Okay, that any allegation
testing. One, two. I think we are up and running. Sorry about that. Sorry about the mic. Seems to have given some problem there. So the point I was making just because I'm sure that you would have heard the presentation of both Isbert and of course that of Saddam Hussein, and the fact that he has corroboratory evidence documentation. I know how Imbert will try to cause, if it comes for a court of law, how to backdating that. Because he said that there was no backdating of the two different accounts that were presented to the Auditor General. One in January of this year and one in April of this year. I'm not going to, of course, confuse you with the dates. Actually, one in January every month, one in January, one in April. The first one in January ostensibly to be the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago, sent to the Auditor General for her assessment, and then, of course, delivery ultimately to the Parliament through the Speaker, the President of the Senate, and the is given to the Minister of Finance. The one that eventually reached the Parliament was one that was submitted in April. And why? Because the one in January, after being submitted to the Auditor General for her assessment, the Minister of Finance wrote and, of course, communicated with the Auditor General saying that there is a shortfall of income in that one of about $3 billion. That January statement had the statement or the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago in the vicinity of $61 billion. So, having been alerted of that, then, of course, discrepancy, that huge discrepancy, the Auditor General told them, all right, I will accommodate you. Go back and reconcile the figures. In April, so January, February, March, April, minimum months after, another statement of the account of Trinidad and Tobago was submitted to the Auditor General for consideration and verification in the usual fashion. She wanted the receipts, and she wanted to see that what you spend, what you acquired, consistent with some kind of paper trail. So, the problem with this particular account I'm wondering if I should continue after this. Seems to be all right. Let me just keep my eyes on it. But one in April, $64 billion was dated January 31st. And therefore, that has created a broglio. And of course, because the Auditor General wants Rowley and of course to be honest, as she is honest, and has responsibility to you and I, the taxpayers, to be honest. A democracy that requires honest people and honorable people. And I always said, when you have people in honorable office, the only consequence that can bring is dishonorableness or free dishonesty, has been the case with this, both the Attorney General and the Finance Minister conspiring to hoodwink and to bully the Auditor General into signing or rubber stamping what is not true. What is the true, people? And so I come back to my, or return to my original position. We have to find a way if the apparent lackey of the government, or one that is prepared to compromise not only her integrity but that of the office that she holds, talking about the Commissioner of Police, and not launch an investigation into this matter, which of course I will share with you down the road, that whether or not we must engage when we see him in the road, arrest him for that level of criminality. It is not just incompetence, it is not just misbehavior in public office, because it was and is a blatant lie. The evidence coming out of the office of the Auditor General and doctrine to support it is incongruent and variant with that of which Bird told us, even as far as I imagine. I want you to understand his demeanor. He wanted to make it clear. He wanted to focus on that alone. And that the two dates were not inconsistent. So therefore, we understand of the legal and logistic consequences of that act. Criminalistic consequences of that act. Let's go to the lines and see whether or not we can get something. I'm hearing something that is not sounding right on the phone, but let's go there and see. A pleasant good night. A pleasant good night. Well, pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Oh boy. All right, we seem to have another problem here, boy. Let me see. Oh, all right. My smartphone that I normally use, I see that it's totally dead. So I don't know if that has an impact. But I will persevere. I will continue, of course, until we rectify this situation in studio. So there we have it, and I am prepared to return to it. This particular live is not the standard that we expect. If I know that, I will return to it. But the fact of the matter is that we have a situation in our hands, a blatant lie in relation to our finances. This is finance. This is our lifeblood. Without money, countries are destroyed, fatherless families. Let's go again. Seem to be having a problem with the link. Let me see. 1 second. Let me see. Let me see what's happening here. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. I'll tell you what. I will terminate now. It's too important. But let me just play that clip again. I'll terminate now and of course reboot. I you to all and sundry. This is too important because we are talking about a civilian arrest. We should see him in the road and arrest him. Yes, we're talking about seeing the road
public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. I just want to make sure that I got the first point clear, that I'm saying that any allegation is crystal, right?
Yeah.
That we are saying it's patently false. Okay, that any allegation that the amended public accounts received by the Auditor General on the 16th of April, according to her letter, that those were backdated is patently false. That those were backdated is patently false.
The constitutional impasse with respect to the Auditor General's report for the financial year of 2023. And all of this stemmed because there is a missing $3 billion worth of revenue in Trinidad and Tobago. The Auditor General, through her report that we have seen on various networks and news agencies, is that there is a missing $3 billion in revenue. So on the 31st of January, accounts were submitted to the Office of the Auditor General indicating that Trinidad and Tobago revenue for 2023 was about $61 billion. Subsequently, the Auditor General was informed that there were issues with respect to the accounts and that the actual revenue for Trinidad and Tobago would have been $64 billion, which means that there's a $3 billion gap. When the Auditor General audited the accounts after the amended accounts were issued, she still could not find the $3 billion, and therefore that was in fact reported, and that is now a matter of public record. But what is interesting...
Let me just explain that term, she couldn't find the $3 billion. Well, of course, what was reconciled in the second, and therefore 64 billion statement. In spite of all of that, it was improved, yes, but they still couldn't find 700 million. So a 2 point something was found, but a 700 million, 300 million short of $1 billion was not found. I just want to clear up that based on Saddam Hussein's statement. Let's go to the line again and see what is happening here. All right, let's see what's happening here. Pleasant, good night. Are you hearing me? Pleasant, good night. All right, I really had to reboot. All right, let us go back. I really have to reboot. I didn't think I had to reboot tonight because of a development that took place earlier. I thought everything would have been working perfect, so there was no need for it to reboot, but I will have to do so. But let's go straight, of course, back to the statements that are being, that in fact, a better reboot here. So we'll come to the end now. Come back to the end now. President, good night. No, we not get it. All right.
Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman, let it beat his stand. He had to take on the boat and bring back to land to get his brother away, to give him